promised, I have today's doubleheader. We went new school earlier, but now we're going old school all the way. And I want to thank John Salami for showing up and for joining me to talk BMX. I was telling John before we came on that I had no idea that he was such an ambassador for the sport, and that he was such a well-known and accomplished racer and industry guy. So, John, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me, bro.
Not a problem. Thank you so much. If we can spread the word of BMX, let's do it.
Yeah, dude. So I told John, because I was watching the Dream House podcast, and he had a little blurb in for an advertisement in between I think it was the Greg Hill. No, it was Eric Group. And I go, you know what? I want to learn more about the New Jersey thing. I want to learn more about the Hall of Fame out there. And I reached out to John, and John was gracious enough to say, yeah, let's do it. So, John, so you live in Southern California now, but you were originally from the New Jersey area, right?
Yeah. I was born and raised at the Jersey Shore when it was cool, before it was the Jersey Shore. So yeah, it was cool. It's like a little surf community I grew up in, and so we were all into anything kind of Cali-esque, like the surf scene, the skate scene. I skateboarded for like 3 years, and then there's like defining moments I can remember where I was at the roller rink, right? Because I'm like 12, right? Meatloaf's playing, it's fucking awesome, and these guys are jumping their bikes. Daryl Montgomery and John Radcliffe. I will never forget. This is like 1979, right? And I go, God damn, that looks fun. That looks fun. Why am I in the roller rink, right? So I'm looking at it, I go, man, I want to do that one day, right? So I had a fat seat AMF with the MX. It had the fenders. And here's another defining moment. I'm in Shatzo's bookstore in Manasquan, and I'm looking and I see BMX Action, Bicycle Motocross Action, May 1979, Dennis Dane's on the cover. I tell Dennis this every time I see him. And I go, wait a minute. It's not about fat seats and fenders. It's about this. Look at this. Those were my comic books, right? Because there were superheroes in uniforms and they had all the cool machines. So I immediately got May 79 BMX Action, and I couldn't stop. And then it took me a year to convince my mother, who said, no, you're going to kill yourself. Bikes aren't meant to do that. So July 15th, 1980 was my first race, Tinton Falls, Monmouth County BMX. So that magazine, man, a lot of kids, I grew up on comics. My superheroes were Greg, Stu, Mike Miranda, like those, Charlie Williams, probably my all-time favorite. But that was it. Those were my heroes. So that's where it began. And then once I started racing, I told Mike Miranda this the other day, and maybe you'll enjoy this, but I hold a record that no one else in BMX probably holds. I'm going to say this if you want to hear it.
Absolutely.
I got 5th in more semis than anyone on the planet did.
Oh, that's great, man. Hey, you made the semi though, man. I never made it out of the motos at a national.
That's true. Hey, you got something going on there, huh?
I went to one. No, okay, I went to one national in the United States, and I didn't make it out, but I was a beginner. So, okay. Are we around the same age? I'm 57.
Same. Yeah.
Same. Okay, yeah. So if you started racing in 75, what you were?
80 was my first race.
1980 was your first race.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you already touched the bike and you're already proficient before you hit the racetrack.
Well, I thought I was. I probably wasn't, right? We all think like I still ride actively, and I have no idea. My friends will do video. Girlfriend will take some pictures, and I'm like, I thought I was way higher than that. So and I'm never ever going to claim that I was some racing sensation because I wasn't. But what I have is this thing pumps BMX and hasn't stopped.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I was just fortunate to have a lot of cool friends that did well, and they inspired me to do the best I could. And those two defining moments we talked about last week was, when it's time to hang it up, but I guess I got to get through some other things first on how California thing happened and all that. So, and pumping up the festival here. So
definitely, dude. So what kind of equipment were you rolling in New Jersey? Did they have
Okay,
the
so
same? Did they have the same stuff as out here? Because from being from California, New Jersey's, you might as well be in Europe or some shit, dude. Like
well,
it
hey,
was off the chart.
I got to back my homies in Jersey. The Thruster did come out of New Jersey.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Timmy Judge, Fergie Garcia had their own replicas. Well, I went into Brielle Cyclery, which was my first bike sponsor, and they had DG California Pros, which was the ultimate DG, right? And actually, the Zuner family was on DG in New Jersey in the late 70s. So that's, we had some great bikes, but my dad was blue collar all the way. So I wanted the DG California Pros, $550. He said, no, hell no. He might have cursed at me in Italian. Menaggia Facima. I'm like, what? So I got this Cycle Pro Macho. It was $125. It had like an Astrobula single thing or whatever. It was terrible. I wanted the tough wheel version, which was the trophy with 2 brakes. He said, nope, it's too expensive. But as an upgrade from my AMF with the fat seat, I was living. And I've posted a picture. You have it for the intro.
Yeah.
I'm Cycle Pro jersey. I thought I was pro. I had Cycle Pro jersey on. Always a fan. This is so weird. I was always a fan of red lines growing up. And I got an MX2, which I thought was, that was the holy grail because Stu Thompson had one. So, but yeah, there was good bikes back there. I mean, Thruster was like the bike, but there's too expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. So did you move out to California? Wait, when you were an adult, right? You were a child. Your family didn't take you out to California. You moved out when you were an adult.
In fact, they were dead set against me moving out there. My best friend since I was 12, I still talk to him this day. He's actually commenting on our live chat, Big Joe Degano. he raced pro motocross. So he came to Bakersfield in 87 to race. He goes, dude, get the fuck out of Jersey. Excuse me if I can't say that. Get the heck out of Jersey. It snows. These guys out in Cali are racing 6-7 days a week. I go, oh, what am I doing in the snow? I used to go do indoor sprints in a horse barn because it snowed. So he came out in 87. He said, listen, there's a national out here. Come out here, check out California. So I go to Bakersfield, low riders. They're putting pennies to Oh Yeah by Yellow. They're throwing pennies in the subwoofers and kicking them out. I'm like, this is California. This is beautiful. I want to live here. And it was Bakersfield. So
was this the race that Bubba Hayes mooned everybody over the jump?
No, this was the race where Bartlett blew his face apart in the jump contest.
Okay.
So I met so many people. Moeller was there. I met Eric Carter there. Cecil Johns was a friend of mine back then. So I go there and Billy Griggs had his little lowrider. I was like, this is cool. Why am I in Jersey? This is what Bob Osborne made it for us with bicycle motocross action. He created a utopia and we wanted to be like that. I literally used to look at haircuts. I'm nuts. Whatever. I used to look at haircuts in the magazines and go, I want a haircut like this. Like Bob Morales had a cool haircut. I wanted to be Cali so bad.
Yes. Yes. I don't blame you.
So then I go, Big Joe, we stay at his house. I race, I get destroyed because the NorCal guys are, and the SoCal guys. It's just, I was a big fish in a small pond in Jersey. So I come out here thinking, oh, it's going to translate. I got killed.
Right.
So I go back and Big Joe says, you got to make a date. If you don't set a date, you're never going to leave. And I said, May 8th, 1988. I'm driving. I'm leaving. Right. My dad was a blue collar East Coast Italian. You get smacked around if So I was like, wait a minute. I could move out of the house and race 6 times a week. So I approached my parents. My mother wasn't having it. What are you going to do? My dad said, you better get a job before I'm not letting you out of the house unless you have a job there. Okay, no problem. I'm racing a local in Jersey. Brian Gass, I love him to death. He comes out to me. He's working with 09. He says, I'm going to make you a plate because you're sponsored by 09. Here you go. You ever think about moving to California? I go, fuck yeah, actually I am. He goes, you can stay at my place. You talked to Brian too. His mom, he forgot to tell them. So I show up and I'm like, anyway, before I get there, I go to Braddock. I get 5th place. I make $75 in the pro main in Braddock at this ABA National, counting the money. And Chris Moeller is there, and he has this zine called Soul, and it was so cool. Once again, it was the California, the fucking boof. He made it look so cool. Wow, I make a little zine magazine, and it has everything you want to know about California. And I go, man. So I go, Chris, I'm going to move to California. He says, cool. It's Sunday. I'll see you on Wednesday at Orange Y BMX. And I go, oh shit. So I go home. I'm packed, you know, in my little Ford. What I have, a Ford Escort or something, right? It's packed. I drive to the top of the hill. I look back and I go, oh shit, I made it. Like, I never got to deal with my dad being angry at me anymore. This is great, right?
How much money did you have?
$2,000.
Okay, so you came. At least you got 2,000, man.
Well, I worked at this gas station, Zanowick, Sunoco, and I worked 5:45 to 3 p.m. so that I could get out and ride all day. Everything evolved around riding. Girlfriends, oh, you want to go out on a Saturday night? I got a race. I can't be dating you now because you're interfering with my BMX. Like, it's OCD, whatever. It works sometimes. So yeah, I drove out in 3 days. I went to Orange Y and I said, hey, Chris, I'm here. And this was before Chris. Well, it's odd because he had a P.O. box and he lived at his dad's house when I met him. I meet all these S&M kids today at the trails and everything, and they're like, hey, Robbie Morales of Colt. I used to drive to Long Island from Jersey to ride with him because he didn't have a driver's license, right? So when all these guys are like, hey, Colt, Robbie, I'm like, you guys understand. So it's funny to have been in it.
Yeah.
We all grew up together because Chris was 18. You know, I was 20 at the time. So we all kind of came up. You know, see, I raced Dave Clymer on the East Coast. He's absolutely an amazing athlete, Jesus. But we ended up living together at the POW house, which is a whole nother story. Most of those things aren't true, but whatever. But I was over at I go to 805 Bicycles. Nick's over there, and I was in there one day asking around. I started talking. He had some S&Ms. We started shooting the shit, and he goes, hey, I think I know you. And I go, yeah. And he goes, I know who you are. You lived at the POW house. He goes, I have a story from there. I'm like, everybody that meets you goes, I have a POW story. And you're like, because it was wild times. It was, eventually we started in the HBP house, which was like Bill Brad and John Paul Rogers and Chris and Alan Foster and Dave Clymer. So we all lived in a house. Everybody moved in 88, basically. I remember Big E and TC moved in 88. Alan Foster, Dave Clymer moved in 88. So it was this big push in 88 for some reason.
What city was the POW house in?
Well, POW house was in Westminster, so pros of Westminster. Okay. The HBP house was Huntington Beach pros. So we all just lived there. We had guests come down. Some guys from Canada came down, Cale Hulse, Perry Nelson. They would come and just stay. It was a house, right? Like it was a frat house, basically. I can remember one time somebody peed in another guy's cologne bottle, and he's like, ah! I mean, the antics were terrible, right? So
dude, this sounds fascinating and terrifying all at the same time. Now that I'm an adult, but back then, this must have been nirvana, bro. Oh my God!
Oh, you did. You went to work. I worked at RightWay before GT bought them. So you're working in a bicycle warehouse. You're looking at the clock, man. It's 5 o'clock. We get to the Orange Y. I don't think I missed an Orange Y in 3 years. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, unless you're going to nationals, but. The trucks would come in with all the tires, and they'd want to unload, and we're like, no, we got to get to Orange Y. Shit, we're not going to make it. Like, everybody's obsessed, but we at the POW house, we literally had a track through the kitchen, and then you hit the track. So, and it became ramps after a while. So you're living in this thing where all you do is you ride. We all worked for Anthony Reyes' dad moving, so we could move all night and then have the day to ride. Like, what a life, right? Like you obsess on riding. That's all you do is you just ride.
Oh, you did. Yep. And drink and try to find food.
Yeah. And so then we'd all hop in a truck to go on summer tour, just as you know, Chris had S&M at the time. So he had his bus and we would jump in there, but still we would just shower on golf courses. We'd sleep in the stairwells late night and get out early before anybody could see us in the hotel. So summer tours were just about survival, get enough money to get to the next race. I look now and I go, I'm like, now I kind of enjoy investing and I'm like, I don't give a crap about anything. If you had $2,000 in your bank account, you were loaded. And I was like, what a life. The first job I had though, I worked at RightWay and then I went to Auburn. So if you guys have an Auburn, I probably put it together because I would sit in the warehouse with Todd Huffman and I would put Auburns together.
So this was Auburn was with GT at the time or
no,
before?
Yeah, no. It was Bob Morales, Moore Distributing, MOR for Morales, and it was Todd Huffman. So they had.
Was this when it was still called Honda?
Honda.
Yeah.
No, it was Auburn through Moore Distributing.
Auburn was named Honda before they became Auburn.
Oh, no shit.
That's why they call it the CR, right?
Oh.
Isn't it Auburn called the CR?
Yeah, 100%. I used to put them together.
Yeah. It was. They changed. I think Bob changed the name to Auburn when. Yeah, he had a problem with Honda was supposed to do a co-sponsor thing with her, and Honda backed out. So there's something called Honda. But anyways, I don't want to preach to you. I mean, you know 100 times more than I ever will know about BMX.
Well, that's okay. We're all BMXers. So Bob Morales was awesome. He gave me a job at Group B Designs. When the Core Bash Guards gave out, he gave us a bunch of those. Like, Bob's been awesome. I met Bob in 1981 at the exact spot I'm having my festival at on October 5th. He was there with Bob Haro, and he rolls up, and I was like, nice to meet you. My sister had a crush on him. You know, these guys from Cali are coming in. Once again, Bob Osborne brainwashing me. Here comes the Cali dudes with their hairstyles and their clothes. And I'm like, they listen to Oingo Boingo. This is great in the B-52s. Wow. You know, it is coming from somewhat of a small beach community. So, you know, Cali is just, it's this thing. And I saw Bob Osborne when I went to Frogtown, and I was like, I got to thank you, man. You created this world and we all bought into it. And I'm still here because of it.
Yeah,
so,
he's super humble about it too.
Yeah, but the whole thing of like creating this world. And the funny thing is I met Gork when I was out here. He's super cool. So the first race I go to, my first nationals, Roseville, and I'm racing. I love Roseville, big ass doubles. And then I get a sequential spread in BMX action. And I go, holy shit, this is like. And Biggie was there also. There's a crash. I put it in the in our thing that we did. So
yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is it, man. I'm in the magazines. But then reality hits of like, you're on the gate with 7 other dudes from NorCal that don't give a rat's ass about you. And the Dean Lucia, Dennis Balch, like these dudes are killers, right? Dex Archibald, Swifty O'Gorman, who's still racing. You're like, who are these people? I didn't see him in the magazines and I didn't see him in New Jersey. So when I come out here, I'm like, who are these farm bred NorCal dudes? And they're just, and you're like, whoa. And reality hits of like, man, it's a different world out here. But I didn't want to give up on the dream, you know, because that's my mindset was when I was 15 years old, I would listen to self-help tapes with Big Joe Dagano. We'd listen to Dennis Waitley, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and we were programmed to succeed. But when the reality hits, you're like, wait a minute, they're legitimately fast and still racing. George Goodall, all these people are still racing. But so when I got here, it was like, man, it was fun. But then I lasted from 88 to 92. And those are the 2 defining moments that I love. We talked about it. I think they're funniest. When I was at Black Mountain in 92, I'm going as fast as I possibly can in this bowl turn. It might have been a bridge, I think. I can't remember. So I'm going as fast as I possibly can. And Dave Clymer, I love him to death, goes, and I said, I can't go that fast. I can't go any faster. I'm going as fast as I can. So I write it off, whatever, no big deal. Go to Orange Y. Mike Luna is like 15 years old, and the gate snaps at Orange, and he goes, and I go, I'm 24. This 15-year-old kid is crushing me. I guess it's time. So after that, I went to massage school because I still like to be at the races and stuff, and I started mountain biking. But I ended up going to massage school. And in massage school, they say, hey, what do you want to do when you get out of massage school? You want to have your own practice? I go, no, I want to work for bike teams. So I literally went on the road and did soigneur stuff. So it's like you cook the meals, you do the laundry, you carry the bags, you do the water bottles, all that stuff. And I did it from 95 privateer solo. And then in 96, Schwinn Bicycles picked me up on their team, the World Cup team. So I traveled the world doing massage, going, wow, well, Lopes is here, Carter's here, Cullinan's here. These are my BMX friends. This is awesome. And then 96, 97 Schwinn, 98, 99 Specialized with Sean Palmer and that whole era. So I got to be around my BMX guys. You know, we just kept going. Some graduated up into this. So I got to follow them. But I still stayed with BMX and rode periodically and just kept up on what's going on. I don't want to start about the whole thing with the pedals and the berms. I can't because in my heart, it's fascinating. Come on, everybody like the Olympics. It's fun. It's just not bicycle motocross to me. I want to go into a flat corner and take somebody out. Like I watch all the old stuff on YouTube and they're just dive bombing. Oh, it's so beautiful. Just taking each out. You know, that was BMX. So
when you were at the POW house or the
nothing happened.
Yeah. Oh no.
Go ahead.
What kind of equipment was everybody on GTs or some GT variant, or were they?
That is a great question because everybody, of course, our rent was $120 a month. We had so many people packed into that house, 2 per room. I was Dave Clymer's roommate for a while. There's some pictures floating around. BMX Plus came over and did a thing with us. I sent you that picture too. So S&M was like S&M. Alan had his own gig. So Alan Foster was doing Elf. He got on Schwinn. Clymer was S&M. I would always go, like Bill Grad was the Robinson salesman. Bill's no longer with us. Funny dude, was with us through the whole journey. My cat is literally attacking my jersey. Hey! Anyway, that was cool. So Bill would give us blend frames like, oh, we can't sell this because there's a dent in it or the stickers are off. So we would just shop for blend stuff. But Chris actually, like, I think everybody in the POW house at one time rode for S&M. Even like Todd Lyons was S&M. Eric Millman was S&M. I had an S&M for a while. So yeah, Chris was like always was with us.
When did the S&M Holmes become popular? Was that mid-90s?
92, I think, because just when I was ending my run, when Dave was passing me and Mike Luna was killing me. Yeah, the Holmes, beautiful bike, yeah.
They're worth a fortune now.
I know 805's got a couple S&Ms. I'm like, I'll do the repop versions because.
Yeah. And I think that's what you mentioned.
I do have it. That's a 75 DG right there.
Oh, see, there you go, man.
Mint condition, hairs on the knobbies and everything. So.
Original rubber from 70s.
Yeah. It's not the Carlisle Aggressor. It's like the Comp 1, I think. I love it.
Are you a purveyor of history of BMX, or are you just really popular and know a lot of people?
No, I would say historian. I don't have the Johnny Johnson and Mark Lopez are the Rain Man. Like they got it down. Like I thought I was like, I'm on top of my game. And then, I know Mark since I was little, but Johnny's awesome. I love him. I see him at all the events. But those guys, I'm like, how do you know that, Pistol Pete had a brake lever that bent this way? How do you guys know this shit? So,
my problem is I know a little bit about a broad range of stuff, but I don't know everything about anything. So that's my problem where I'll pose a question and not knowing the answer. And like with the Holmes, I mean, I knew SM made a Holmes, but I didn't know when they made it. Who was it named after? Dave Holmes, or who was the Holmes name?
John Holmes, the porn star.
Really?
Because it was a longer frame.
Are you fucking with me? Or are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious, dude.
See, I did not know that the Holmes frame was named after John Holmes.
Yeah, because it was a longer bike. Chris, Chris, he's nuts. So.
Is that common knowledge?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, man.
See, the canine design would be my ultimate. I love that was when I first met him in '87, and then it became the dirt bike. I had a dirt bike. I love it. I want the original dirt bike, but like you said, it's $3,200 or whatever it is. My ultimate bike. I'd love to have my Hutches back. My all-time favorite bike was the Hutch Futuristic Black. So it looked like a little ball beaded finish to it. It might have been in the Miranda series. It might have been.
So is that do you have any of your old race bikes, or you just have that DG?
No. So check this out. We used to get a bike a year when I was doing the massage stuff. So I worked at Schwinn. They're like, "What do you want?" My friends are like, "Get the downhill bike with the 12-inch suspension. It's $5,000." I go, "I'm BMX bike," and they're like, "What?" So then I go to Specialized and I get one of theirs too. Like, "Oh, the BMX bike." They're like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm going to ride this way more than a downhill bike. So I have a 96, like a Schwinn kind of a jump bike. I've heard it's a Blue Falcon, but it's not. And then I have my DG, and I have a CYC Stormer that I'm building up.
I love CYC Stormers, dude.
I got it for $5. I was up in Oregon, a friend of mine, Bruce, and I see it. I go, "Bruce, do you understand this bike?" I'm looking around, no one's picking it up. And I said, how much for the bike? And the guy goes, "It doesn't have a chain, ring or anything, $5, right? So
Oh.
I look at Bruce. He goes, "We got to get out of here, bro, before this guy takes it back." So I had it out of there, and I've been trying to build it up. I've had it for 8 or 9 years, like, and haven't done anything. But I always wanted one. The Ronnie Ames CYC Stormer was a beautiful bike when I was a kid. Couldn't afford it. So yeah, I'm partial too. But Hutches were like my. What's your all-time favorite bike?
JMC Andy Patterson.
Woo! Ooh, nice. I love it. Have you met Andy?
Yeah, yeah.
He's so cool. He locked his keys in his car at Dirty Fest, and we were laughing. I looked at my buddy and
At Dirty Fest 1 or Dirty Fest 2?
2, and my buddy Clive from England. I love him. He goes rode for Revcore and stuff, and he goes, Andy's locked his keys in his car. I go, yeah. He goes, let's help him out. So we're trying to get in, right? And I look back and we're laughing. Clive goes, dude, we're breaking into Andy Patterson's car. And he's allowing us to do it. So then one of my ultimate Dirty Fest highlights was hanging out with a dude that's hanging out with Andy all the time. We're laughing, having a good time, making jokes. And somebody goes, hey, Carl. And they turn around. I go, Carl. He goes, yeah, Carl Butler. I go, Carl Butler. The last time I saw him, he's 8 years old, right? He's this little kid. He's like, what's up, man? And I've been talking, I post about him all the time. Like, I was like,
another Main Bikes alumni.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 2 Main Bikes riders, and one in the last 10 minutes. Mike Luna and Carl Butler were both on Main Bikes. Yeah.
I didn't know Luna was. That's amazing.
Yeah. And Craig Bark was on for like a week.
Wow.
And who else? Hazel Horst.
No shit.
Yeah, a couple different guys. I was on like the last iteration of the team. I wasn't on when Mike Luna, the other guys were on, but yeah, dude. So that's when at Dirty Fest 2, I was talking to Andy and I go, hey, I got a picture. He always puts his arm around on my shoulder when I take a picture with him, and I go, hey, can you sign my Main Bikes jersey? He goes, yeah. I got to go take care of something. I'll come. So he probably went and locked his keys in his car because he never came back.
Nice.
I go, I got ditched by Andy Patterson, dude. He told me he was going to come back. That must have been where he went.
Yeah, he told me, he goes, yeah, there's something staying with his family members. I go, I can remember you in the Attic Sprockets ads. And he looks around, he goes, this guy remembers me from the Attic Sprockets days. I go, yeah. He goes, and told me the whole story about Attic Sprockets. And I was like, wow, that was you with your trophies. I was like, who are these superheroes again? And you go back to like, these guys were, Batman, Spider-Man, whatever.
Yeah. But the Andy Patterson is my favorite race bike that I've ever raced. I did the best on that, but I have affinity for like Gary Littlejohn, the Strokers.
Yeah,
I like the old 70s. I like anything that has a shock on it. I love it.
Wow.
That's where my heart really is. But race wise, the Andy Patterson was by far the fastest bike I ever touched.
Wow. Yeah. Getting into that era is a whole nother animal, right? Like getting into that early red lines, square backs before the square backs, right?
Yeah.
No, that's
or the bike that Stu had, is that a GT or a red line? That was a GT, right? He raced it at Dirty Fest 1, I think.
Oh, I was like during his career? I don't think so. No, didn't he have SEs and he had a Huffy, like a mock Huffy or something? Didn't he at the last? That was Frogtown. He had a Huffy.
Anyways, whatever Stu Thompson's suspension bike is,
okay.
I thought it was a GT, but like the first suspension GT ever made. But anyways, that's a beautiful bike. I mean, really beautiful bike. But anyways, I digress. We got off on a tangent.
I mean, Stu's the man, right? Like he was. I can remember trying to get everything he had, and I would take the magazines. In fact, my mom would put the magazine in the window. I lived in a hill, the same hill I said goodbye to my dad to. Well, I would see, and she'd put the magazine in the window, and I would see it, and I'd start running because BMX Action's here, and you have it for a month. So you're sitting in school and study hall, you're looking at who's got what brake lever, who has what caliper brakes, who's got the grips. Like you obsessed on it because that's all you had. Those were your comic books. So. Yeah.
Mark Ring says it was a Gary Turner, so it was a GT. It was before GT, but Gary Turner made that.
Wow.
Bike.
Mark knows way too much because he lived it.
Mark. Yeah. So I'll tell you a quick story where when I raced for Maine Bikes, I got my first Jag from Maine Bikes in
Oh,
'79, and there was for years he had a Gary Littlejohn tandem in the front window of his shop, and we would walk by that guy, and we wouldn't even give it a second look. We're like, that's the most ugly fucking bike I've ever seen. Nobody wanted this thing. He couldn't sell it for nothing. And if it sat in that window for at least 15 years, at least
no.
maybe 12, and he closed the shop. I don't know what happened to that bike. I tried to hunt him down. It was a tandem Gary Littlejohn 20-inch with the gold doodads on it, and I was like, "Oh man, dude, that thing would be worth like 20 grand by now."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways,
And
that's my whole thing. I like Gary Littlejohn stuff.
like anything that I want now it's like 3,200. I love the Hutch Aerospeed cranks, but those alone are like $2,000 now. So, and I had them. I remember calling Mike Miranda, like, I can't get them off. He's like, you got to use the box wrench as a lever. And I'm like, oh, thanks. So Mike helped me get my Aerospeeds off. But I wish, like, because at that time in your life, it's like a car. How don't we wish we all had classic cars? But you move on. Like, oh, I'll just sell this to get some money to go on to my next project, which is like mountain biking or whatever. So
Yeah.
I really wish. I mean, I got some jerseys. I have things, but man, the bikes, we didn't know it was going to be this cool,
Absolutely, dude.
So go ahead.
No, I was just so I want to talk about this festival, bro, and Hall of Fame, and because I don't want to. I know it's getting late for you. Probably. I know you're not a night owl.
How do you know that?
I heard it was on the internet. So first comes the Hall of Fame in New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whose idea was it? Your idea, or does someone say, John, we're going to start Hall of Fame, and congratulations, you're going to be in charge of it?
No, well, so here it is. John Shackle, who was one of my heroes growing up, Jersey pro, he was hanging with Stu and all the big boys when they came back east. His sister is Kathy Shackle. She's phenomenal as well, both Hall of Famers. So he came to me. He had the New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame Facebook page. And I was over at the BMX Legends Society Facebook page. That's Charlie Williams, by the way. So he said to me, hey, can you run the page? Like, I like the way you're moving things around. You're always on. You got friends, and you can just do your thing. Be like the Dana White of the UFC, right? Just do your thing. Be the guy that goes out and does all the work. They all do work, but to a degree, you're posting. I like the way you post. So I go, yeah, no problem. And then he goes, hey, listen, ultimately, we want to have the Hall of Fame. Let's build a committee. So we built a committee of 4 guys, and I don't want to say who's on the committee because then there's more like, well, he voted for him, that kind of stuff. Because building a committee and building a Hall of Fame is a beautiful experience. But like anything, it's not truly Disneyland because you're always going to get somebody. Why didn't you put him in? How come you're putting so many people in? Like, I defend questions all day, but I'm a lighthearted, fun guy. It's all good. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt of 3rd degree. So if things get crazy, I'm okay. But
yeah.
So I took that on and I said to John, okay, let's build a committee. So anybody that wants to do it, like, we've had people say, listen, we raced in Jersey, so we want to include our state in the Hall of Fame. And I was like, well, it's kind of crazy. I believe it's better if you guys have your own Hall of Fames. And then, because then people started to get, do I race in Jersey more than I raced in my home state, whatever. So like I'm saying, it's not easy. So with the committee, we said, who do you think? Like, everybody come up with names, right? And we're going online and getting opinions from everybody. And we're going to have a ballot box this year, actually, where if you think someone should be in, you put their name in. So amongst the committee, and what's funny about the committee is not everybody always agrees. Like, I have people that I adore and they were great and I believe they deserve to be in. I got vetoed on some of the people I brought up. And then some were like, come on, give me a break. He's in a Charlie Litsky, Rich Farside, Jared Justice. I mean, Sal Zuner. Like, they're in. But people also ask, like, well, how come there's so many people? two reasons why is one, if you put 5 people in, how fun and exciting is your dinner going to be? You got 5 people, you got 5 families there. Hey guys, this is great. So we also had to catch up, and we also had to bring in the pioneers, and there's so many pioneers. And if people think that someone didn't get in, it's funny. I could literally put everybody in, not me, the committee could put everybody in the first year, and then we wouldn't have a banquet next year. So a lot of people, if they're just patient, like, it's funny to see that there's no patience at all. Like, if it is not the Hall of Fame unless you put this guy in. I'm like, so it's going to happen. Like, in my head and the committee's head, we have 3 or 4 years ahead. In my brain, I already know, like, when we get into the 90s, who I think, so, but it's just me thinking. I have to put it to the committee. They have to say yes, yes, and yes, or no, no, no. And then I go, okay. So John bestowed me that beautiful honor. So, so I just started, and then I said, where can I get the feelings that I get when I'm at Frogtown and Dirty Fest, which is I'm driving home for a week. I'm posting, everybody's posting. I'm a cinematographer and I do professional photography. So I'm there snapping photos all day long, which is something I need to tell you about. We are relaunching the BMX Action Calendar. I'm relaunching that. Get ready.
With new pictures or old pictures?
New pictures, and it encompasses the entire breadth of BMX. It's like, like Eric Group, for instance, started in the 70s, still racing in his 50th year. That guy deserves a month for sure, So I didn't want to make it like old, and I didn't want to make it new. I'm going to make it a perfect blend. So that's my cool announcement. But back to the Hall of Fame. So I said, I want these feelings that I get when I go to these events. Well, why don't we just do a festival on the East Coast? The East Coast has never had, they've had little vintage shows, but they never had something I want to create. I want to create a vendor's row, a foot down comp, raffle, autograph session, like an East Coast version. So I go, well, screw it. I'll just put it on the day of the Hall of Fame, which is October 5th. The festival will be at Central Jersey BMX in Howell. That's 2449 US 9 Highway, Howell 07731. So where we all used to race, like, I'm going back to where I have DNA in the dirt because I crashed there so much, right? So the festival will be at Howell, Central Jersey BMX. We all used to drive there. And what's funny is that, it's not funny, but the track's up for sale. So this might be the last one at Howell. So we got to get out there and support the people we grew up with. And
so
then
other people from different states can come to the New Jersey BMX Festival.
100%. That's why I called it the Northeast Vintage BMX Festival, because we got, Justin Shepard's coming up. Mike Rodriguez is coming down. We got people swarming from all over, a lot of Pennsylvania. So yeah, it's not just about Jersey. Like, it's about the Hall of Fame is strictly Jersey, but come on, you all raced. How many times did Jared Justice beat all these people? They need to come and support him, right? So, that's the festival in the day. We're gonna start about 9 o'clock, and it's got everything. Robert Lane, for the first time, is bringing the Red Line BMX Museum to the East Coast. It's never been there before, so he's excited for it. So, and if you haven't seen that, it's like, there's John Cruz's bike. That's John Cruz's parts. That's the bike he rode. There's Stu Thompson's. There's Greg Hills. There's Dennis Danes. Jeff Kosmala. So when I saw it, I've seen it a couple of times, and I just stand there and I stare and I go, that's it. That's that's it. The stuff he rode, not like repop or anything. It's like grip. So I'm nerdy like that, like, because I used to look at the magazines and know. So Robert's bringing that out. And then we're going to have that till about 6, about 5, then everybody can shower and head over to the Battleground Country Club. That is 1 Cohoven Road, Manalapan, 07728, 6 o'clock, banquet and New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And
now, can anybody go to that?
Absolutely. Everything's open.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a Dirty Festival Frogtown. You can come from wherever you want. Like, I know all the East Coast guys come out here for that. The thing with that is it's a dinner, and you can get a table. A lot of people have been asking, like, I want a table. Well, you can buy individual tickets. You can buy a table, and it's like going to the prom where you show up and you're like, oh, everyone's over here, and you make your tables. It's $90 a plate for the dinner, full course meal. And you can Zelle to get those tickets, 772-521-2348. that gets you your dinner ticket. But it's spectator free at the festival. You can walk around all day. I'm going to make a commemorative poster, have all the inductees sign it. I'm going to make a T-shirt. And how cool to have the first ever inaugural Hall of Fame, because I got to do it every year, right? I just can't do one. So
yeah,
this is truly like kind of a big deal. So
you sparked. I've been thinking about this since we talked last, and the only thing I think that Dirty Fest is missing is some sort of video documentation sponsored by the function, where official Dirty Fest, going around interviewing people, documenting everything, all the vendors, the racing, and that type of thing. Other people are like, with their iPhones out, taking pictures and stuff, whatever. But that, I'm not telling you what to do, but that, for the next Dirty Fest, I was thinking, like, man, if they could somehow capture that, edit it down, and put it behind a paywall of some kind where people can watch, because how many thousands of guys of comments I've seen on the different Facebook pages were like, "Oh, dude, I can't make it. I wish I could be there." I mean, have you ever thought about something like that? You're a cinematographer. You could probably do it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to add on to your responsibilities, man.
No. I'm going to tell you why I don't do it. Because in my jiu-jitsu school, I always have to film the ceremonies, right? The belt promotions, right? I always got to do it. Blah, blah, blah. I never get to enjoy the event, right? So if I have to go around and document, and I'm qualified, I can't enjoy the event. I can't spend time with Andy Patterson because I got to think about who's up next for the interview. Good point. I go there and I do photos, and I put the photos up for the calendar, BMX Action relaunch, and I put them up on all the sites. I do BMX Legends Society page, the Hall of Fame page. Anybody's from Jersey, like Jason Richardson, I always snap some of him. So I'm doing photos that day, which takes a lot of time, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to miss out on the event.
Makes sense.
I'll miss out on something. I'll be doing an interview and then, Greg Hill was here, but he just left. I'm like, I didn't get a chance to see Greg because, he calls me 3 times a week and I don't want to see him anyway. But which is a whole nother story with that guy. Man, we did some things to poor Greg, and he still to this day. There may or not been a plaque or a Nora Cup trophy that disappeared from BMX Action, and it may have ended up in the POW house. And we may have done things to it. This is all speculation from what I've heard, speaking for a friend. And Greg, to this day, he's like, "How's my plaque going?" I'm like, "Dude, let it go. It's been 30 years, man. Let it go." "Oh, no, how's the trophy?" Like the POWs versus the MVPs. And Merino Valley Pros was Greg, Todd Blazer, Todd Corbett. It was always this little thing. We try and do little like pranks to them. They do pranks to us. And that was a fun time. But at one point, Greg was going to come over and fight people at the house, but somehow got sidetracked. So yeah, I give him a hard time now. He loves all this stuff. At one point I was like, "Man, Greg, there's so much you can tell." And he's like, because I guess he got burned a little bit. but now he's back and he loves it. And we go off all day about fun stuff. So there's a couple inside jokes I'll tell you about later.
Do you know what happened to all the GHP Blem bars and forks?
I wish. I'll go undercover.
They'd be worth more than the real stuff.
I know, and I'm looking for like.
I want to ask him at Dirty Fest, dude. What happened to? Did he just ship it all back to Taiwaners or whatever, or who did?
No, I
thought Voris did this stuff for him, but I don't know. Whatever happened to him? I'd love to have a handlebar that's 7 inches long on one side and 3 inches long on the other side. That'd be kind of cool. But anyways,
asking because I wanted to like. I want to search. I'm trying to find like an open face helmet just for asking for a friend for Dirty Fest. I'm training, no big deal. But I wanted to, and I call Greg. I go, "Dude, what do you got, man? You got GHP pants? I'd like a pair of You Lose pants. That'd be sick." He's like, "I got nothing." I was like, "Nothing? You have nothing?" So I'm just trying to find. Who's got the greatest deal in town? Well, not the deal, but Eric Carter's son has the greatest stuff ever, and he's in charge of it, right? And every year I give him my credit card at Dirty Fest, and I go, the bike you're sitting on, the green judge, right now, put whatever you want on my card. He goes, nope. And I go, dude, I'm giving you my credit card. Every year I go, please. And he goes, no. And I go, oh, he has Hutch jerseys, Hutch helmets, everything.
Yeah.
But Eric took charge of his stuff. So, that's
that, especially that VDC freestyle that he has. Ooh.
What do you, is that? That would be almost the holy grail, I think. Almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, VDC freestyle. Like, I'm not even in freestyle, and I would love to have one. So.
Yeah. Crazy
that's
stuff.
Awesome.
When you were at RightWay, were you there when the FBI showed up for all the theft?
Oh, I might have ran the lunch though.
my phone's tripping. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
It's not charging. The I heard a story about when there was a theft team that was going through the warehouse at GT, and that they were taking stuff out and sneaking stuff out in the trash can and coming back and picking it up after hours. And they had to bring the FBI came in and raided the place. And I thought you might have been there for that time.
No, are you calling me a thief? So
No.
No, what we used to do is we used to pencil human bodies, and we would put the bikes back up and stack them up. So eventually, when you moved it on the floor, there'd be a tracing of a dead body. That was our little shtick. That's what we used to do. And then we also had something called death from above. So above the warehouse was a window, and they would look out while you were working. So as you're putting tires together, pulling in order, you're like, death from above, so that you knew you're getting watched. That was what we did at RightWay. So your brother might know what death from above was.
I'll ask him when next time I talk to him.
Yeah.
He was the I guess he only worked in the warehouse for like a week, and then went to customer service, and then went to product development. But he worked. So my buddy Corey then.
Yeah.
I asked him. I go, dude, what's up with John Salami? He's like, yeah, good guy. Dude, no one says anything bad about you, man. I tried to ask around. Like, if you ask around about me, you get some bad people tell you, oh, he's an asshole. But dude, you are universally loved, man. I'm like, dude, man.
Look, for real, from a standpoint of why I do this shit, it's because it's a great way to create memories. And I believe when you're long gone, you just, how many people are going to have at your funeral, right? That's what I think. Like, did you make an impact or not? You got from A to dash to 1967 dash. That's what you fill it in with. And then when you die, so how many people are going to come out and go, man, that guy, and with my martial arts background, it's like I taught students for so many years. 27 years I've been doing it. So they always, I tried this move you showed me and it worked. And you're like, wow, I'm actually giving back. And with BMX, it's like everybody's so fucking cool. So I just want to give back and create festivals now and just do the pages and bring people together, because what else do you got, really? I mean, at the end of your time, what did you do? Did you take or did you give? Like, did you only do two things in your life? You're either taking or you're giving. So I want to give. And I want all my jiu-jitsu students to show up and all the BMX people go, dang, he was a solid dude, man.
So let me ask you a question about combat sports. I do a little bit of boxing here and there. I've been training for about 3 years now, but wrestling, what would you, on a street fight, they say that jiu-jitsu it means nothing. I don't know what do you
mean in preparation for?
No, what would you suggest? What's the best discipline? If me and you met in an alley, and what's the best form of personal protection? The jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing. What are you thinking? I'm sorry?
A gun beats all martial arts, doesn't it?
Oh, a gun. Yeah. Well, you're supposed to run, right?
The thing is self-defense, all right? So jiu-jitsu was based on self-defense. In 1926, the Japanese came over to Brazil, and then they taught the Brazilians in trade for coming into the country. So it was built in 1926. So it was a self-defense based thing. Now, and oddly enough, Pistol Pete got me into jiu-jitsu and then awarded me my black belt in 2012, which is crazy because it's Pete, my hero from BMX, is now doing jiu-jitsu with me. But so self-defense. It was self-defense, but then as competition came in, it got watered down, and now the stuff they're doing in competition isn't self-defense, and you're going to get. They say every time you get hit, you lose a belt ranking. You know, it's white, blue, purple, brown, black, but every time you get hit, that's a joke. But the best thing you could possibly do is self-defense, not competition, jiu-jitsu. Muay Thai is beautiful, right? Muay Thai. The UFC started as each individual martial art was pitted against each other. So the Gracies came in, they go, look, jiu-jitsu, nobody can do anything. If we take them down, what are they going to do? They don't know anything on the ground. They're boxers. They're karate people, right? So they really kicked ass. But then the wrestlers came in and they're like, we'll take you down. It doesn't matter. And they're like, oh, shit. So it evolved. It evolved into Muay Thai kickboxing. It evolved into jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So if you have those three, and all the UFC fighters of today are good at all of them. It's like, can a UFC guy come into the gym and go against a jiu-jitsu guy and beat him? I've seen it. I've seen it for years. Yes and no. Sometimes a jiu-jitsu kid will like just roll him up and you're like, how's that possible? Oh, because if the jiu-jitsu guy stands, he's going to get knocked out by the MMA guy. So it's evolved from all the martial arts to mixed martial arts. Everything is all mixed now. Yeah. So answer to your question, with guns and knives in the street, your best thing to do.
No. I'm just talking about hand. I'm just talking about hand to hand. I'm thinking about trying wrestling. I want to branch out a little bit, and because I'm pretty sure I could defend myself standing up, but if someone takes me down, I want to be able to defend myself. So that's what I'm thinking about taking wrestling maybe at some point.
Have you thought about jiu-jitsu?
I don't want some guy's balls in my. Well, I guess jiu-jitsu did the same thing.
So here's
I don't want no guy's balls grab my balls in my face and shit like that, dude. I don't know.
Here's the thing, okay? So in karate, you're doing katas in the hopes of one day you're going to use this block in a fight. Jiu-jitsu is live, active rolling every day. You say, I don't want a guy's nuts in my face. Well, guess what? In a street fight, it's going to happen. So who cares, right? So you live actively roll in jiu-jitsu. So if in a situation comes, I don't have to worry about this dance that I was doing for 15 years. I've sparred 100% live every night. So all you do is tap and it's over. You go to your limits, but you always have a way to tap and then you start again. You laugh, you know, hey, you got me that time. Let's go again real quick. Touch hands and you go again. So jiu-jitsu's awesome because wrestling's the same. I went to a beautiful wrestling school called Raw in early 2000s, but wrestling's great, but in jiu-jitsu, you can learn that stuff and the submission finishes. So you'll learn how to, from head to toe, pick a body part you want to break, and then you just do it. It's and you get to just beat on your friends, and then you laugh about it when it's done. You go, hey, that was great. Talk to you later. You know?
Nice. Okay, I'll check that out.
I'll tell you.
We'll talk offline maybe about what do you think I should do.
Yeah.
But so when if somebody wants to get more information on New Jersey and all your festivities going around New Jersey, what's the best place for them to go? The Facebook page?
Yeah, the Facebook page, New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame on Facebook. I always constantly update with stuff. If you have any questions, my email is bmxlegendsforever@yahoo.com. I can answer your questions, but I always update. I also, because I'm an admin on the BMX Legends Society also, like I always put stuff over on there too for people that are like out of the Jersey umbrella kind of thing. So
right. And if you have an Echo open face helmet, you can reach out to him at that same number or that same email.
Yeah, I'm willing.
What size you want?
What's a large will work, I guess. I don't know.
Large, there you go.
Just not Eric. I don't want the cooler from Eric.
Yeah. You get to pin your visor up and all. You got it, man.
Visor riser. What's up, Brian?
There you go, dude. John, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. Mark, I definitely down for lunch, Mark. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody for coming by and stopping, watching, taking the time out on this busy night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't, I really can't make you. John, have a great night, bro.
You're awesome. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, man. Thank you. Everybody, thank you very much, guys. Peace out.